Since their inception of January in this year, the LA Wildcards have competed in 11 tournaments that have logged results on APPA. Of those 11 tournaments, 8 of them the team has placed first. They've won the event. The other events were 2 second places and a third. What we're going to be talking about here today is the biggest paintball cheating scandal since the Jeremy Salm sniper incident, and that happened like 20 years ago. Let's kick it on over to Mr. H and Tyler Harmon to see what they have to say about the LA Wildcards.
What's going down right now?
Scandal, boys.
Scandal. It's a 3-hour scandal. Tyler, what's going on? You're on team.
The LA Wildcards are in some serious trouble. This organization is under intense scrutiny from both the Wcppl and the NXL. I want you guys to sit down, strap in, and we're going to take it from the top to explain how the Wildcards defrauded the Wcppl and the NXL. And they came away with thousands and thousands of dollars of prizes. And on a personal level, the most upsetting part of this to me is that they were doing it in Division 5. Dude, Division 5 is where 13 and 12-year-old kids go to play their first tournament. And you have guys with like D3 and D2 experience creating multiple Paintball League's international accounts, also known as APPA. They're creating multiple accounts just to kind of sneak under the radar and get these easy dubs. What a crock of shit. I am so glad that Hinman banned the entire program and not just the Sandbagging player, because this is fucked. You guys are doing something that is clearly detrimental to paintball. Let me go into that. Let me explain this. I know this video is coming off like a rant at this point, but I have to rant because I am mad as hell about this, and you guys should be too. Every player who competes in tournament paintball at the regional level or the national level, these are the bigger tournament series like the Wcppl and the NXL. I'm going to give you a brief rundown in how rankings work and how the LA Wildcards use this system and manipulated it and managed to sneak in sandbagging players. So if you're registering to play a tournament, you are going to make an APPA account and you have 0 points. Every event you play, you gain points. Your point values are based on how well you do in the tournament, what division you compete in, as well as how many other teams you competed against. A lot of younger players ask me, if they have 0 APPA points, are they allowed to hop in to, say, a Division 4 tournament? The answer is yes. If you are lower ranked than the division that you're playing, and remember, your ranks are based off your point values. If you have a lower rank, you are more than welcome to hop into that division. So yes, even somebody with 0 APPA points is legally able to be rostered on an NXL Pro team. So dream big, guys. So how did the LA Wildcards manage to get an illegal rostered player into every single event for an entire series this season? The answer lies in the difference in name between Tony and Anthony. The name of the player in question goes by Tony Zazueta, and Tony has a second profile. So he has 2 APPA accounts, one under the name Tony and one under the name Anthony. If these points from both accounts were added in together, this player would be ranked Division 4. Now, why is that a problem in this case? Because the LA Wildcards already have 2 Division 4 players on the roster. Tony was being rostered as a Division 5 player. So they're basically competing in the rookie division with 3 seasoned veterans. And that explains all of their success. Wait, Soup, didn't you just say that they're running with 2 Division 4 players in Division 5, not counting Tony Zazueta? Yes, I did. So what leagues do is they allow for 1 or 2 players from the division above you to come down to your team to help out. That is legal. What's even more shady about this team is that when lurking their APPA, their 2 legal Division 4 players both have Division 2 experience. So these are seasoned veterans, these are men in their athletic prime, and they're jumping down from Division 2 all the way to Division 5. So you have 2 kind of legal sandbagging players with a D4 rank, and then you have a third D4 player who's hiding his rank. This team is all sorts of corrupt. Now that we understand that this team committed fraud on 2 of paintball's biggest tournament series, now we have to look at what consequences are coming to them and how these leagues are going to react. We're looking at the aftermath, pun intended. Michael Hinman, owner of the WCPPL, his initial reaction was to immediately vacate the series championship that the Wildcards won. They are no longer going to be viewed as the D5 champs. He also banned the player who was guilty of APPA fraud from one season. Now, to me, this didn't seem like it was good enough. And I'm glad that I waited a few days for more action in this story to come in to make this video. This was not enough. The players surrounding the Sandbagger, the players surrounding Tony, they 1000% knew what was going on. This corruption extended to team leadership and management. They knew they were sandbagging, and yet this punishment was too light. This story is rapidly developing. About one day after it broke, Mike Hinman, the owner of the WCPPL, announced additional sanctions on the LA Wildcards. All players on the LA Wildcards roster for the 2021 season will be banned for no less than the remainder of this season and the full 2022 season unless compelling evidence can be shown that would otherwise cause the league to reconsider. The LA Wildcards as a team will no longer be allowed to compete in the WCPPL. The time period is indefinite. The other element to this story is the prize money. When you're competing at big tournaments like the NXL and the WCPPL, and you're winning like them, there are thousands and thousands of dollars that the Wildcards have won while committing fraud. I have inside sources that have let me know that Hinman has requested the money back from the Wildcards. Will they do it? Are there legal consequences if they don't? That is unknown at this point in time. Additionally, the NXL has yet to make a statement on how they're going to handle this situation. Hinman is always the guy who does the right thing. And I think that after his first statement, he walked it back and then did the right thing by adding these additional sanctions. On the flip side, the NXL hasn't said shit. If you are an executive of the WCPPL or the NXL and you've discovered this unprecedented cheating scandal, and these cheaters won, how would you handle it? Would you maybe get a lawyer and try and find some civil cause of action to recover that money? Or would you ban just the cheating player? Or would you ban everybody? There's a lot of variables, but I want to ask you guys, what would you do? Because we've never seen this before. At the beginning of this video, I said the Wildcards were guilty of conduct detrimental to paintball. Now, what does that mean? Because this sandbagging occurred in the beginner division, Division 5, this is where new players come to experience tournament paintball. This is the starter division. And yet this team took away opportunities from hardworking teams that belonged there. This was their division to get better at paintball and to learn about tournaments and to do it without these D2 OGs just dunking on them every single point. So when these new teams are just getting pooped on by this bullshit roster, they're not going to come back. These people are going to say, you know what, tournament paintball, it's too hard. It's not for me. And the procedures that we have in place to prevent this, they failed. There was rumors that this team was corrupt. There was rumors that they were using illegal rostered players, but nobody really escalated it to league ownership, and they just kept skirting under the radar. But this is bad for the league. This is bad for paintball, and I feel so sorry for the other Division 5 teams who were honest with their rosters and put everything out there, but they just took L's to this team. Now that this scandal has come to light, we have to analyze how we can do better and prevent cheaters from winning in low divisions. Every league should have at least one or two people going through every single roster, checking out the players, searching for players who have low or no points, but are in that like 30-year-old age range, because you don't get to be 30 years old and play paintball without playing a couple tournaments before. So these players, these suspicious players, need to be investigated in every league. Additionally, I'm thinking something like a manual ID check before you step onto the field. So before you go onto the X-Ball field, you're going to have to show your ID to the ref, and he's going to have to verify if you are who you say you are. That's one extra level of scrutiny that we can implement with zero costs just to prevent this from happening again. This has definitely been an intense video, and I want to say thank you for sticking around to the end. I'm soon going to be getting a new camera. What ended up happening was I ordered one and it shipped and it was a dud. So I had to ship it back, but I've gotten my money back and I have a couple cameras that I'm keeping my eyes open. I want to shout out the Sicarios. Ironically, they lost to the wild cards for this footage. So the footage you're watching today with the Sicarios over this video, the Sicarios are a legit D5 team and they took an L to the wild cards on Sunday at Wcppl Arizona.